What's going on, YouTube? It's not a secret that Camry and Accord have dominated the midsize sedan segment for many years now, but that's not stopped the rivals from trying to break the stronghold. The latest challenger is the all-new Sonata, which has gone stylish and high-tech in a big way. So with that said, let's find out if this new Sonata has what it takes to dethrone one of the segment's established leaders. So kicking things off here with the pricing and equipment, we wanted to show off the best each car has to offer, so we went with fully loaded examples. For the Accord, that's going to mean we have the Touring trim, which after the $930 destination, rings in at $37,030. Hyundai, of course, is known for value, so unsurprisingly the loaded Sonata Limited is going to cost less. After factoring in its $930 destination, the final price comes in at a very reasonable $34,230. Alright, so heading straight into the exterior styling, no one can claim that midsize sedans are boring anymore. Sonata was the vehicle that kicked off the style revolution back in 2011, but it was somewhat dulled down when this bold new Accord came out. For 2020, it continues to have the same large grille with a piece of chrome above it, but the Sonata has outbolded it with this new generation. It has adopted a giant triangular grille, which is always finished in metallic black even if a lighter color is chosen. But standing out even more than the grille are these new headlights. Of course the main part of the unit is fully LED, but they also have the absolutely crazy feature of chrome on the hood that lights up as a daytime running light when the car is on. That's certainly something that the Accord doesn't have. But Accord does have LED fog lights in addition to its LED headlights, which is something the Sonata is missing. As far as the rest of the styling, they really couldn't look any more different from each other than they do. The only similarity is that they are both controversial, with strangely shaped LED taillights. As far as other details, the Sonata throws in an integrated spoiler, but Accord gives you dual exhaust outlets. So overall, both these designs are handsome and unique in their own ways, and preference between them is definitely going to be personal opinion. Now moving beyond the appearance to the features, you'll find 18-inch contrast alloys on the Hyundai compared to 19-inch alloys on the Honda. And then as far as the mirrors, both of them have heating and blind spot monitoring as equipped. But outside of those BSM systems, both Toyota and Hyundai actually throw in their entire advanced safety suite as standard equipment, even on the lowest trim levels. They include automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, and automatic high beam headlights. Finally, when it comes to warranties, Hyundai has the advantage. Honda gives you a 3-year 36,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty and a 5-year 60,000 mile powertrain warranty. But Hyundai continues to give you an extremely long basic warranty of 5 years 60,000 miles and a powertrain warranty of 10 years or 100,000 miles. Well, that's it for the exteriors. So now let's check out the interiors before we take them out on the road for a test drive. Heading up to the cars, obviously both vehicles have smart entry, but the Sonata has some interesting differences. In addition to the normal key, it has a digital key system, which allows the car to lock and unlock via your phone's Bluetooth or by the key card. Also related to entry and exit, I want to go ahead and mention one of the Sonata's standout features, which is the parking assistant. Just like luxury vehicles such as the BMW 7 Series, you can exit the vehicle and use the key fob to have the car back into parking spots, and then the opposite when you come back to the vehicle. But anyways, once we actually reach the interiors, Both have very premium looks from black leather color schemes. As far as the seats themselves, the Accord has 12 ways of adjustment compared to 8 in the Sonata, but otherwise they both have heating, ventilation, and memory seats. Cabin materials are also another important area. So starting with the Accord, it has a soft touch dash and a pretty realistic faux wood trim through the middle. The lower area also has leatherette covering the center tunnel. The Sonata has similar materials with a soft touch and partially leatherette dashboard. However, the center tunnel is not padded like it is on the Accord. After starting up these two, you'll see that both have a digital gauge cluster, but the new Sonatas is a fully reconfigurable setup with extremely vivid graphics. The designs can also change completely, so this is probably one of the best setups I've ever seen in a mainstream vehicle. One other benefit of that display is Hyundai's blind spot camera monitoring system. It's very similar to the lane watch system that Honda used to offer, but doesn't offer anymore on the Accord. In addition to that, both models have head-up displays. And coming back to the steering wheels, they are leather wrapped, but only the Sonata gives you heating. Now the next major thing to talk about is the interior storage. Usually Hondas always dominate this category, but in this case, I'd say they're about even overall. Both also have a wireless phone charging pad that covers the bottom of the front bins. Heading to the shifters, these are two of the few products in the class to have electronic push-button ones. Operation is pretty much the same between them, but when you go into reverse, we have a meaningful difference. The Sonata comes with a really large and vivid 360-degree camera system, which is something the Accord is not available with. The next stop are the climate controls, where both have standard dual-zone automatic climate. Alrighty, so now let's go ahead and compare these audio systems. Overall, both are good, but the Sonata has the edge in sound quality. And now that brings us to the infotainment systems. First of all, the Accord has an 8-inch display, while the Sonata has a 10.25-inch display in this trim. Of course, both of them have navigation at this price point, as well as Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Finally, the last thing to mention up front is the fact that the Hyundai has a panoramic moonroof, while the Honda has a regular-sized unit. Now moving to the rear areas of these two, both are pretty spacious, but Honda will offer an advantage here both in terms of legroom and headroom. Once in the back, there are some amenities, including vents and smart charging USB ports. However, only the Accord's rear seats are heated. Now as far as the trunks, unlike the back seats, the Accord doesn't have much of an advantage, in this case less than the 5% margin to score a point. Anyways, that's it for the interiors, so now let's compare them under the hood and out on the road. This is the part of the video that exhibits the biggest differences between these two. That's because when you choose the Accord Touring, you automatically get the upgraded 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, which makes very good numbers for the class, 252 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. In contrast to that, the Sonata Limited gets an upgraded turbo engine, but it's not designed for extra performance. It's a 1.6-liter turbo 4-cylinder, making 180 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. Obviously, this produces quite a difference in acceleration. Alright, so first taking off here in this 2020 Sonata, this is the 1.6-liter turbo. But as far as how the power felt, definitely feels very good. What we had noticed kind of getting up to the testing grounds or whatever is that it definitely feels very torquey. It has a real spunky feel to it here with this turbo engine. So you definitely launch off hard and it feels like something, you know, more powerful than the average thing in the class. So there's our first acceleration in the 2-liter turbo Honda Accord. This is my first time behind the wheel of this model. The 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 252 horsepower. So definitely a big jump over your standard 1.5-liter turbo. And 273 pound-feet of torque, which is also something you definitely notice upon the first acceleration. How, you know, it's a very torque-rich engine, so it really pushes you back in your seat when you accelerate. Another difference is the transmissions. Hyundai is using an 8-speed automatic, while Honda went with a 10-speed automatic. In practice, the average person wouldn't be able to tell much of a difference between them, and both perform very well with fast and smooth shifting. As far as the transmission, we have an 8-speed automatic transmission. That's going to be standard across every single Sonata, and it is front-wheel drive only. They don't have an option for all-wheel drive at this time. And one of the key advantages of this over, say, the Mazda 6 is definitely the 10-speed automatic transmission. You know, none of the competitors have that. The Mazda 6 is a 6-speed, the Camry is an 8-speed, and this is a 10-speed, and it's extremely smooth. Great transmission. It's developed in-house by Honda, and they really have done a great job. Having that many gears, you know, keeps you in your power band and keeps that turbo ready to go. You know, just obviously it's a lot smoother as well than the Mazda 6's 6-speed automatic. Now there is still all the rest of the driving dynamics, which is where both of them shine. We were really impressed by the buttoned-down and athletic feel that both of them have, and the fact that they were both legit fun to drive on a curvy back road. The Accord, though, is still going to have the slight edge, with perhaps the best steering setup in the class, and adaptive dampers that are both comfortable and sporty at the same time. And of course, just as important as the power is your handling. And you know, all the Accords, even your standard models, they really do an excellent job in this area. And this 2-liter is no different. As far as some touring exclusive, you have adaptive dampers here on this model. So that does allow you to have both sporty handling and some really great ride characteristic. You know, just hitting some bumps like that little bump there, you really can't feel anything. I mean, it rides absolutely phenomenally, better than most mid-size sedans, I would say. Of course, we're on a back road here, and this gives us a chance to kind of, you know, test out how much the handling has improved. And I can definitely say, big step up. Really like the way that it handles. I don't know if the camera can pick up on it, but it stays really flat as you corner, and it has a
very agile feel to it.
Finally, as far as fuel economy, as you'd expect, the less powerful engine does come out ahead by a substantial margin. The last thing we should quickly talk about here is value. Since the fully loaded Sonata costs $2,800 less than the fully loaded Accord, we will have to apply value points of a half point per $1,000 of difference. That's going to add 1 point to the Sonata's total. So there you have it. This is the end of another super close and entertaining comparison video. As you can see, both products are extremely well executed, even though it's the Sonata that came out on top today. Honestly, it's going to come down to personal preference and the amount of emphasis you put on raw power numbers. Anyways, thanks for joining us for another Car Confections comparison. And be sure to subscribe for more comparisons and our signature full review videos. Take care, everyone.